One day, Mulla Nasruddin was walking through the desert when he came upon a skull. He picked it up and looked at it for a long time. And then, because Nasruddin was Nasruddin, he spoke to it. "Old friend," he said, "what brought you to this place?" And the skull spoke back. "Talking," it said, "talking brought me here." Nasruddin stared at the skull. He looked around the empty desert. There was no one anywhere. He picked up the skull and ran. He ran all the way to the palace of the great king of that land. He burst through the doors, breathless, wild-eyed, the skull clutched to his chest. "Your Majesty," he cried, "I have found a miracle, a talking skull, a skull that speaks." The king looked at Nasruddin. He had seen Nasruddin before. He was skeptical. "If this skull speaks," the king said, "I will give you 100 gold coins. But if it does not," he paused, "I will have your head." Nasruddin swallowed, but he was certain he had heard it himself. The king summoned his entire court. Ministers, generals, advisors, all gathered around to watch the skull speak. Nasruddin held up the skull. "Speak," he whispered. "Please, speak." The skull said nothing. Nasruddin shook it gently. "Please," he said again, a little more desperately. The skull said nothing. The king nodded slowly, and Nasruddin's head was removed from his shoulders and placed on the desert sand next to the skull. There was a silence. And then the skull spoke. "Talking," it said, "talking brought me here." There is a cruelty in this story. I won't pretend otherwise. But there is also a kind of love in it, the love of a tradition that tells us the truth, even when the truth is uncomfortable. How many times have you said something that you immediately wished you could take back? How many times has a word left your mouth and changed everything? A word spoken in anger, a secret shared too soon, a truth delivered without kindness, a boast that invited consequences you hadn't considered. Nasruddin didn't lie. He hadn't invented the miracle. He had genuinely heard the skull speak. His mistake was not that he was wrong. His mistake was that he ran. He ran to the palace before he had sat quietly with what he had witnessed. Before he had asked, "Is this mine to share? Is this the right moment? Is this the right place?" The skull had learned its lesson. Nasruddin had not. The Sufi teachers tell us that the tongue is the most powerful and most dangerous instrument a human being possesses. More powerful than any sword, more dangerous than any fire. Because a sword wounds the body, but a word can wound something that takes much longer to heal. I don't think this story is asking us to be silent. Silence has its own dangers. I think it is asking us to be considered. To pause just for a moment before we speak. To ask the quiet question, is what I'm about to say worth what it might cost? The skull learned to stay quiet. Nasruddin learned too late. Most of us still have time. I'll leave you with one question to carry into your day. What is something you are holding that might be wiser to put back down? This has been The Long Thread, ancient stories for the present moment. Tomorrow, another thread.